So class is in motherfucking session. So 2 things that you need to know to decipher between people's opinions of you and critiques that they might have for you. Because, you know, sometimes we need a good critique. So first, you have the truth / the facts. And these people are going to give you the critiques. These are actually going to be people who want to see you better. Just because somebody is your parent or your teacher or your friend or whatever does not mean that their truth or facts about you could be correct. So therefore, we're going to talk about how to remain unbothered through that. Simply by deciphering, is it true or is it false that you do that thing? So sometimes I could be so consumed with my thoughts that I often overthink things. My family has shared this with me, and it's true. So what do I think about? Okay, how can I make sure I'm in the present, I'm in the now, you know? And that's something I could address myself. Okay, some people are negative people walking through life, and sometimes somebody tells them, like, I don't know why you always have to be pessimistic. Why do you always have to think in the negative? Why can't you be optimistic? So it's important to know the pessimistic comments. So we're going to talk about the false, the haters, the people you should not be considering. Don't even allow them to get into your head, because all they want to do is plot on your downfall. They want to be there for your downfall and then come to the funeral and then cry and act like they actually gave a fuck when they really didn't. It's really important that you don't focus on the haters all the time, but know that the snakes in the motherfucking grass is right there. Watch your ankles. Just saying, because bitches be hating. It could be your friend. Okay? I've been there, done that. Okay? It could be your friend. It could be your own sibling. You could really, sometimes you got to even evaluate with people. Why are they saying these nasty comments? And how do you determine when somebody's just saying a nasty comment? Here you go. Every time you come around them, do they have some fucking critique to say? Because it's not a critique. It's hate. Okay? If they got something to say about you in the negative, if something is out of whack for them and they can't accept who you are, then that's a motherfucking hater. Just know. Point them out. Know that they're in the room. And then after you point them out and you know that they're in the room, they no longer motherfucking exist. They're strangers in the crowd. You don't even, hey, okay. And would you say good morning to somebody that you didn't know? Yes. Would you say good morning to your hater every motherfucking morning if I work with them?
I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
Good morning, and I'm passing and I'm sashaying down the motherfucking hallway and you're looking at me because you're a hater, okay? That's false information, just so you know. So let's wrap this up. 2 things, okay? Know the people who are giving you critiques. Know the people who are actually writing for you. Know the people who genuinely love you for you and want you to be great. 2, know the false people. Know the haters. Like I said in previous videos, there's no such thing as a fake person to a fake person, because in their mindset, they're real. So therefore, you must determine in your mindset, they don't have your best interest. Keep the negative away. Keep the haters at bay. And continue to sashay down the motherfucking hallway. Class is in session. Thank you.
Remaining unbothered and remaining sane sometimes usually go hand in hand in different living environments. So how to remain unbothered when you like still live with your parents and you're like transitioning in to making that step to wanting to move out, or even if we want to talk about in other situations, like, because I know some people, like, how to remain unbothered if maybe you're living with your boyfriend and like you just can't wait to like be free again or something like that. So whatever the situation is, I'm going to give y'all some tips on how to remain unbothered while you are there and how to stay sane. So, in my opinion, because I personally am somebody who's in the mindset of like, I can't wait to move out of my parents' house. Like, I'm thinking financially where I need to be, mentally where I need to be, like everything, because it's a big step from moving from somewhere where it's technically a comfort zone or somewhere you've been for a long time and now transitioning. So remaining unbothered for me, what's been working for the last couple of years, y'all, is smoking weed. Yeah, smoking weed. For me personally, and a way to stay unbothered in my living situation was always like having like a good support system like outside of that, like Gabby, my best friend, like boyfriends, like, you know, just people to be close to, so that when your house is putting a lot of stress on you, or like I said, whoever you're living with, but if your living situation is putting a lot of stress on you, like, you should always have like some people that you could go spend time with that could like take the stress off of you, or, you know, somewhere that you could go. So those are 2 tips for me. Like, when I smoke, I either smoke alone in my car, and I like to park somewhere like scenic, like that's like a thing for me. Like, I like to park where like the water is, or I'll park at like a park that's like real open where I can see everything, because it just like helps me clear my mind while I'm smoking. Or I definitely have a smoke room in my house, so if I don't want to go outside the house, I'll just stay home and smoke there. So that's definitely one way that I stay unbothered. Like, I literally get into arguments and go upstairs in that room and roll up. I'm not trying to influence anybody. That's just what I do to remain unbothered. Recently, another thing that I've been doing to remain unbothered is like writing. Like, I think that sometimes when we like feel away in the moment, like the advice that we get, like, don't actually argue with somebody when you're angry, because you might say the wrong thing. Like, recently, like, sometimes when I'm upset about something, before I like call somebody and like go off on them or show up and go off on them, I like write it in my notes first, like how I feel about the whole situation, and then, you know, see how I feel about it in the morning, like, and just sleep on it. Sleeping on it definitely helps you remain unbothered. Like, we all know since we were kids, like, anything that bothers you, take a nap. That's definitely something that I do. Take a nap. like a kid, take a nap. The last step, the exit step, is most important in remaining unbothered, because it's like the calm after the storm. While you're going through all these trials and tribulations and not enjoying your living situation, I think for young people that is really important. For one thing I'm doing right now, actually specifically, is work on your credit. I don't know if anybody ever told you that credit was important, but I'm gonna be another person to tell you again that credit is super important. Like, while you're home and hating your living space, make sure you have like a 700 or 800 credit score, because when it's time to get out, it's gonna do you a service. And like I said, financially, you should just be planning, like saving up money. I even sometimes, it could just be dreaming. I start apartment and house shopping, because to me it's just the extra push to, like, you know, just like when you want a car, you want to know like how much the down payment is going to be to know if you're really going to be able to obtain that car, and then you want to know how much the car note is going to be to know if you could really maintain that car. Like, I just look at apartments and houses sometimes to see like what they're looking for me to become a homeowner, and it's good motivation to me. So plan your exit financially and plan your exit mentally. Like I said, smoke some weed, look at some apartments, you know, work on your credit, And those are ways to remain unbothered while you're at your parents' house or your boyfriend's house and you can't wait to get out. You're welcome.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sweetie, and I'm here to school you on how to stay unbothered during school, honey. I'm here to tell you how to make it the littest, greatest, bestest night, experience, party, romance of your life. That's what I'm here to give you. Rule number 1, I wrote them down just so I don't forget it, because I'm here for you. Okay. Number 1, you have close friends and family. I want you to remember that when people try you, or you have these fake relationships that are forming amongst other friends, when you have something real, something you really love, you don't have to sit there and entertain these so-called friends. Leave them be. You have people that already get you and your quirks and your weirdness. You don't have to sit here and explain yourself to people. And for people that don't have that, because that's a reality for some people, you got you and you pop it. Okay? You are that ish, katish dish. Okay? You don't have to sit here and entertain people that are not in your best interest. You could just go on and let them be. Okay? Next. Rule number 2, you gotta assign how many chances you're going to give to someone. Because honey, you're gonna waste your time. You're gonna be out here dishing all the chances in the world because it's good. You know what type of good I'm talking about. You're gonna dish out all these type of chances because you think you need those friends. And you don't ever need the friends. And you're going to sit there and waste a whole bunch of your time. And that's okay, because that's a part of life. Sometimes in that process, you're realizing how to, find people that get you and weed out the ones that don't. So it's a constructive process. But I'm just saying, just know when to stop. Hold the brakes, because sometimes you could go a little too far. You could get scammed, you could get caught up, you could get burned. You can look stupid always, so we don't want that. That's why class is in session. We are here to tell you how to stay unbothered. Okay, honey? So we're gonna move on to the 3rd point. Decide if it's worth the discussion, because you see, I went from a point in my life where I was being dramatic. It was very selfish. I like the drama. I used to think, I still do, that my life is a movie. So in my head, I'm setting it all up and I'm like, I'm going to tell this person, I don't like you. And that's what I did. I just went up to people. I'd be like, can we talk at this time, because I got something on my mind, And that's how I lived. And then I just stopped. I reached a point, my mom was like, chill. People around me in my life was like, chill. The things you say, like, did you really think that was warranted? Like, you felt like you had to say that? And I'm like, I felt like for their growth, it was essential for them. But some people don't think I have to say all of that. So I reached a point where then I would just not say anything. I would just block people and just move on. And that wasn't healthy either, because then stuff started to eat at me, because I was really letting, I had repressed anger issues. I was getting built up, So that's not good either, to bottle in the things that you really want to say to someone. So now I'm at this stage in my life where I constructively, thanks to a friend, Miss Unapologetic, who has a, anger issue, but that's aside, that's, beside the point. But she told me, talk it out. She yells it out, it gets crazy, but it's okay. But she told me, talk it out. And that's what I've been doing now. Now I talk it out, and when you go into those situations, sometimes you may not always get the answer that you want back. And that's cool, because you went into that situation for you. You went into it because now you know how to talk and how to explain yourself when you are uncomfortable or when you don't like something. And that's important, because that's growth. That's, interacting with people. That's maturity. And you have to know if it's worth the discussion. So
That's rule number 3. And rule number 4 is look for the effort, you know? When you're making these decisions, you have to look to see, is that person putting in any effort to change how I feel? And pay attention to that. I was walking away before I even talked about how I felt to the person. I wasn't learning anything. I wasn't, correcting my errors or learning from my mistakes or learning how to improve from that. I was just like, now we reached the era, I don't like you anymore. And you have to sometimes say, because some friendships and relationships are worth saving. Not all of them, because the end of that rule is to leave them. Deuces. Gosh. People be trying you, y'all. Be trying the fuck out of you all the time. Gosh. Last but certainly not least, we gonna wrap it up at, honey, you are in school for you and only you. You have nobody to impress. You have no one to wine and dine. You have nobody to befriend. You have none of that. There's no obligations, because your obligation is to learn and to graduate. Your obligation is to get a degree. And don't get confused with professors that want to try you, with children that want to try you, with grown ass adults that want to try you. Don't get lost in the sauce. You're here because you want to graduate. You're here because you're trying to better yourself and learn something. And if you remember that, honey, you'll be successful. I'm happy that I can school you on the 5 rules on how to stay unbothered during school. Because if you want to stay as unbothered as me and graduate, honey, proud of it, honey, first generation, sweetie, we're not here for the games. So, I hope you enjoyed the tips, and sweetie is out. Thank you.
Okay, so today class is in session, and I just gotta let you guys know, it's upsetting me and my homegirls that we're having such a hard time being unbothered. And unbothered in many, many ways, but today I'm gonna discuss how we can remain unbothered in our personal space, who we let in our personal lives, because you have people you have to deal with, i.e. work, sometimes school with your classmates, because you don't pick who's in your class, in other ways, maybe the taxi driver that picks you up. Like, there's certain things that you have to just put on a brave face for. But as far as who you let into your personal world, we definitely have some leg room there. So I'm gonna talk about when we do let mofos in, okay? Sometimes unwarranted, but we do let them in. And sometimes with us letting them in, we give them power. So I'm just gonna talk about some ways to not allow them to change how you feel about yourself or just about you in general. Okay, so you don't want to let other people affect you. So my 3 rules is, the first one I'm going to talk about is acknowledging, because sometimes things are affecting you and you're ignoring it. Or you're trying to say, oh, maybe I'm ODing, or maybe I'm overthinking, or maybe no, go with your first instinct, because a lot of the time your first instinct is right. I like to believe your first instinct is God talking to you. And a lot of the times we ignore him and he be putting us on, but we be ignoring him. So go with your first instinct. Acknowledge that you have an issue with whatever it may be, because what's important to me may not be important to you, and what's important to you I may think is not that serious. But I can't tell you how to feel, and you cannot tell me how to feel. So we have different minds, different outlooks, different views, different perspectives. So if it is a relationship you want, you address it, whatever it may be. Maybe you're not giving me enough conversation. Maybe you're giving me 1-word answers when I'm giving you a paragraph. Maybe your sister is, keeps taking your car and not putting gas in it. Whatever it may be, like, acknowledge it address it, and hopefully with conversation, and that's how you know you're in a healthy situation, when you come to someone with an issue and immediately they're open to seeing how you both as a group can figure out a way to fix it. Tip 2, and these are just, my advice, don't have to take it, but tip 2 would be, I would suggest to change habits. So a lot of the times we have habits where we're all creatures of habits, but a lot of the times that bleeds into relationships, whether it be with your parents, significant other, friendships, job relationships, whatever it may be. That habit bleeds into it. So in other words, somebody says something slick to you and you always just brush it off. Oh, whatever. No, sometimes you gotta be like, yo, bro, like, I'm noticing that you keep, doing this type of shade. Like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the times people do things. I'm not going to say a lot of the times. All of the time. People do things that you allow. Boom, drop the mic. Bottom line, you could debate me all you want. People do what you allow, because I'm telling you, I know from experience. I've actually tested this out. No joke. Because at my job, people be trying me. So I said, all right, I'll let one thing slide. So let me see how this will go. When somebody says something smart and I was just like, yo, I'm not the one. I didn't even do a speech. My tone, it's like, yo, not over here, bro. And everybody in there was like, oh. And people started thinking twice before they did certain things. And this is what I'm saying. Change your habits. Shock people sometimes. See how they react. If they have respect for you as an individual or whatever, they'll adjust. And then, last but not least, guys, everybody is going to have something to say, and we have to exercise our right to ignore. Block it out. Play some songs. Yo, in high school, I was infamous with the iPad. I had my freaking headphones on blast, okay? Like, straight up. Motherfuckers were like, yo, I was trying to say hi to you, period. And you just walked past me. I didn't see you. I don't care. Nothing. I'm enjoying my music. And that's an extreme example because you don't always have headphones, but I'm just saying, block it out. Anything that is not adding to your progression in life, adding to your forward thinking, adding to ways that you can just feel better, and there's sometimes where you are going to feel like, damn, I need to change this. And maybe that's not such a great feeling. Not everything is going to be peaches and creams, but we're all figuring it out as we go along. So we don't need negative energy. Criticism is good. There's constructive criticism, and there's just, yo, you trying to break me. And we got to know how to distinguish that and then block that shit out. Any motherfuckers that's on a break me type of time, see you later, boo. Break yourself down. Do whatever you got to do. Kill yourself. I don't care. But don't bring that shit over here, because I'm over here trying to improve, better, happy life, you know what I'm saying? Making money, whatever it may be. I'm here to excel. I'm not here to put people down. I'm not here to shit on nobody. I'm here to rise above it all. And if you trying to freaking dampen my light, there's no space. And that's the thing that we have to learn. Sometimes we be giving people in our personal, because that's what I'm talking about, personal. We be giving people in our personal space that permission to break us down. And once you start acknowledging that you start having feelings that you never had before, or you question the things you never had before because this person's in your ear, it's time for them to go. All right? So I hope these 3 steps, and I'm going to recap, because we in school, these are the notes, write it down, do whatever you got to do to remember them. We're going to acknowledge and address it, whatever it may be, first instincts. That's God. Hey, you remember me? Talking to you, trying to get you out of that. Change habits. We got variety of personality. We're not always mellow. We're not always calm. We're not always lit. We're not always turned up. We're not always happy. We're not always sad. Shake it up sometimes. Pop smoke, shake the room. Make people feel your energy sometimes, just to see. Like, all right, you really fuck with me? You fuck with me when I'm wilding? You fuck with me when I'm wilding? All right, cool. You a keeper. And last but not least, we blocking it out. Anything that does not add to progression, you got no space for it. Because you are a queen, you are a king, and we over here trying to build our empire. So if your input is not helping me with the progression of my civilization, you gotta go. So I hope you guys really dug what I had to say, because I really feel this is what helped me. So I know I'm so much like you. I'm just like y'all. So I know it'll help y'all too. So just make sure you take it in, reflect, and I love you. I'm out.